Hey everyone, David from Sunday Sounds here, and welcome to this final installation video for your sound library for MainStage or Logic Pro, purchased from SundaySounds.com. Thank you so much for supporting Sunday Sounds and what we are doing through your purchase, and we really think that you're going to enjoy it. So we're going to talk really quickly about how you can use these new sounds in MainStage, inside the Sunday Keys MainStage template, and in Logic Pro. Also, if you received an error message during installation, hang tight, we're going to address resolving that as well in just a minute towards the end of this video. Okay, for the purposes of this installation video, I'll be using our Pluto 60 Pads MainStage sound library as an example, which is what you see on the screen right now. But this process will be the same for any sample-based MainStage sound library that you purchase from Sunday Sounds. Since you're watching this video, I'm going to assume that you've already gone through the install process that you see on screen, dragging and dropping the two folders to the left, from the left to the right. Don't worry if the files you drag don't disappear into the new folder. You just want to hear a little sound that lets you know that the file was deposited inside of the new folder, but you'll still see them here as well. So don't be worried if those don't disappear for you. And again, if you got an error message during either step of the installation process here in step 1 or step 2, we'll talk about resolving those at the end of the video. But first off, if you've completed the installation process with no error messages, then you can go ahead and close out the installer, and then you can right click on it to eject from your desktop. And then now you can either remove this .dmg file from your computer if you'd like, or you can store it in a safe place on your hard drive as a master backup of your entire purchase. It's entirely up to you. You don't need these files anymore. And the zip file is just a duplicate of the DMG file as well. So you can keep one, you can delete them both. It's up to you, and just depends on how much space you have on your computer and what you decide you'd like to do. All right, first off, I'm going to show you how to open up your patches within MainStage 3, and then we'll hop over to Logic Pro, and I'll show you how to open up the channel strip presets as well. I'm going to go down here to MainStage. I have our Sunday Keys MainStage template open, but the process is going to be the exact same no matter which MainStage concert you're using. Now, one thing to note, when you install your sound library from Sunday Sounds, we recommend that you don't have MainStage 3 already open. If you happen to have had MainStage open during installation, just go ahead and restart your computer before continuing and then opening up MainStage 3, because this greatly reduces the risk of running into any error messages when you start to load these patches in. All right, now I have Sunday Keys open, and in edit mode, I'm going to hit the plus button here to add a new patch. Once I've added a new patch, then I'm going to go down here to the patch library, and I'm going to click on User Patches. So you're going to click on your product name. For me, that's Pluto 60 Pads. And inside, you're going to see a number of folders. So inside here, this is where the bulk of your product download is. If you're opening these patches within the Sunday Keys MainStage template, then go ahead and click on the Sunday Keys folder. If you're opening the patches in any other MainStage concert, we recommend you use the patches inside the MainStage patches folder, which is what I'll demonstrate first. The files inside this folder are unmapped, but ready-to-play presets that you can use inside any MainStage concert, and then you can add any mappings or additional sound layers and channel strips that you'd like. So I'm just going to click on this patch file right here, and it's going to load up and be ready to play, but there aren't any mappings made. This is great if you have your own MainStage template that's customized the way that you'd like to perform, or if you're using a third-party MainStage template. If you're a Sunday Keys user, I'll show you how to load a Sunday Keys mapped patch into your concert. I'm going to hit the plus button here. Going to go back to User Patches. Again, select the name of my sound library and then go to the Sunday Keys Patches folder. Now within this Sunday Keys Patches folder, you'll see we have a folder of patches and then also a folder of sets. Each of these set files contains all the presets in the library, each mapped to a specific section of Sunday Keys. If you're just checking out your purchase for the first time, then loading one of these set files into your concert is a great way to test out each of the presets to find your favorites. Loading a set file can take an extra few seconds because of the number of patches in the set, And when you load this, you'll probably see a warning message like this that says the selected file contains multiple patches. Just go ahead and click Add. Now, as I scroll through these patches, you can see that you get on-screen control of sound shaping parameters that can really help you dial these sounds in for the songs that you want to play. So if you're a Sunday Keys user, then definitely take advantage of the pre-mapped patches that are a part of your sound library. Now, depending on the version of MainStage that you have, there's a bug that shows up for some users when you first load in these patches into MainStage. I'm going to talk about this in a little bit more detail at the end of the video, but because this issue is a little bit more prevalent, I want to address it really quickly here. If you haven't already restarted your computer, then that's the most common way to avoid this bug. But if you have, and you open up MainStage, and you hear either what sounds like a really cheesy electric piano, or no sound at all when you load in these patches, then you want to open up EXS24 for any of these presets, and you're going to see the word missing here in all capital letters right next to where it says the name of the preset. All you need to do is hit refresh menu, save your concert file, quit MainStage, and then open MainStage back up. 9 times out of 10, that will resolve this issue for you, and all of your sample-based instruments will locate the right samples and instrument files. Now, check out the end of the video where I talk about troubleshooting this in more detail if those steps don't resolve this issue for you. Okay, next I'm going to show you how to open up these sounds in any Logic Pro project. So I'm going to minimize MainStage here. And before I open up Logic, I'll walk you through one additional installation step for you to do to be able to access all the channel strip presets from your sound library. First off, you'll want to navigate to the MainStage folder on your hard drive. And for most folks, this is located within the Music folder on their computer. So if you create a new tab by hitting Command-T on your computer or going File and then choosing New Finder Window or New Tab, for most users it's going to look something like this or like this. It's going to start here at Macintosh HD. If it doesn't start here for you, then just go up here to the top of Finder, go to Finder Preferences, and then make sure that New Finder Window Show is set to Macintosh HD. Then you can hit Command-T again to open up a new tab. Now, in order to locate your MainStage folder, if you've never done that, you're going to go to Users, choose your username, click on Music, and then here within Music, you're going to see a folder called MainStage. Now, you're probably going to want to be able to get back to this folder, so I recommend just go ahead and click and drag over to your favorites bar. You see I've got MainStage already on there. And what that lets you do is anytime you need to get back to this folder, just click on MainStage, and there you are. Now, once you're inside your MainStage folder, you want to click on the name of your sound library, and then you want to locate the folder with CSTs in the name, and copy that folder by hitting Command-C, or you can right-click and choose Copy. Once you've copied that folder, I'm going to go ahead and open another new tab. And then you want to navigate to this folder location. You want to go to Users, choose your username, click on Music, Audio Music Apps, Channel Strip Settings, make this a little bigger here, and then Instrument. Once you have that instrument folder highlighted in blue, go ahead and hit Command-V to paste. So basically, you're copying this CSTs folder here from your original download, and you're pasting it into this folder right here, Instrument, which again is located within Users, your username, Music, Audio Music Apps, Channel Strip Settings, and Instrument. I know it's a little bit of a journey to get there, but once you figure out where it is, it's pretty easy to remember. I also recommend that you add the Audio Music Apps folder to your favorites bar, something that I use all the time. Anytime you install a new sound library, it's nice to have it right there so that you can get to it quickly. Okay, now that you've done that, I'm going to minimize Finder here, and you can go ahead and open up any Logic Pro project. And then once Logic Pro is loaded up, it's going to be simple as selecting a software instrument track. So I've got a software instrument loaded in here. Just make sure that it's a software instrument, not an audio instrument. And then here on the left side of the screen, when you click on User Channel Strip Settings, you're going to see all of the user channel strip settings that are inside of that instrument folder that we were just in. Now, if you're anything like me, then you might have a large number of channel strips already saved here. So if you remember the name of your download, you can go down and find that folder. We'll see P60 pads, and then inside this folder are all of the presets. Or you can search by name and really quickly find any of the presets that you'd like. Then just click on that preset and it will load up to the track and be ready to play. And that's it. You can now use this preset within any Logic Pro 10 project, just like you would any other channel strip preset. All right, now that we've talked about how to get up and running in MainStage and Logic, let's talk briefly about error messages or issues it's possible to run into. The first possible issue can occur during step 1 of installation. So I'm going to open the installer back up here. This error message generally occurs only if you don't have MainStage installed on your computer, if you're only a Logic Pro user. That's because you're trying to place this first folder here into a MainStage folder which doesn't exist on your computer. If that's the case, just grab this first folder here, it's going to be named the name of your sound library, and drag it off onto your desktop or any other location on your computer where you're going to remember where it is. And then you can move forward with step 2. Since you're not planning to use these presets in MainStage, it's not important that they're in a folder named the MainStage. You can just place them wherever you would like on your computer. Now, if you are a MainStage user, a more common issue can occur during step 2 of installation. This takes the form of an error message or pop-up asking you to authenticate a folder location, or a pop-up telling you the destination folder does not exist, cannot be found, or some other error message to that effect, just depending on the Mac OS version you're currently using. If you're receiving an error message like that, don't worry about it. Just open up a new Finder window and then follow along with the steps I'm about to lay out for you. To resolve this issue, first we need to pinpoint the source of the problem. So from your hard drive, remember, if you don't see this when you open up a Finder window, just make sure that you go to Finder Preferences and set this to Macintosh HD or whatever the name of your hard drive is. And then once you're here, from your hard drive, navigate, just like we did during a minute ago when we were talking about setting up Logic. We're going to go to Users, choose your username, click on your music folder, and then you want to see this folder here called Audio Music Apps. Now once you've gotten this far, it's really important to pause and check something. You want to make sure that this little Audio Music Apps folder does not have a little black arrow in the bottom left corner. For an example of what that looks like, notice this MainStage alias folder has a little black arrow at the bottom left corner. If your Audio Music Apps folder looks like that, if it has a black arrow in the bottom left corner, then this right here is the source of your problem. This Audio Music Apps folder doesn't actually exist here. It's been aliased to somewhere else on your computer. And if that's the case, then we're going to talk about how to fix it in just a minute. If there's no arrow at the bottom of your Audio Music Apps folder, then look inside that folder. So we're inside Audio Music Apps. And you want to see if you have a folder named Sampler Instruments that looks like this one. If you don't have a folder with that name, or if you do have a folder named Sampler Instruments, but it has that black arrow in the bottom left-hand corner, then that's your issue, and we'll need to resolve it. Now, this may all seem kind of complicated, but let me simplify it for you. All we need to do is make sure that this folder structure is in place. So within your music folder, you need a folder named Audio Music Apps that isn't aliased, and then inside that folder, we need a folder called Sampler Instruments that isn't aliased either. So basically, if your Audio Music Apps folder has a little black arrow in the bottom left corner, then you just want to create a new folder inside Music. So right-click, choose New Folder, and then name it exactly Audio Music Apps. Now, make sure that you change the name of the aliased folder before you do this, so that you don't have two folders named the exact same thing. Otherwise, you'll get a little pop-up warning you that you can't do that. So just change the name of the alias folder. I like to change it to Audio Music Apps Alias. That's the folder with the little black arrow, and then create a new folder named exactly Audio Music Apps. And then the process to resolve the issue here in Sampler Instruments is the exact same. If you don't have a folder named Sampler Instruments at all, then it's really easy. Just create a new folder and name it exactly Sampler Instruments. The really important thing here is to pay attention to capitalization and spacing. So each word gets capitalized and there's a space in between each word. If you do have a folder named Sampler Instruments here, but it's aliased, it's got that little black arrow, then you're going to do just what we did with Audio Music Apps. You're going to change the name of that aliased folder to something else, like Sampler Instruments Alias or Sampler Instruments Broken, and then you want to create a new folder by right-clicking inside Audio Music Apps, and then create a folder named exactly Sampler Instruments. After you've set your folder structure in order, so you've got users, username, music, non-aliased Audio Music Apps, non-aliased Sampler Instruments, then all you need to do is go back to your Sound Library installer and complete step 2. Or you can go back to the installer and just copy this step 2 piece here and then paste it inside Sampler Instruments. We just need it to end up in this place, which you can see right here. And again, this just depends on the name of your sound library, but it's going to correlate to whatever you've purchased. Now you may have one or both of these folders aliased. Your Sampler Instruments folder may be aliased, but your Audio Music Apps folder is not. And if that's the case, then you don't need to do anything to Audio Music Apps. Just go ahead and create a new Sampler Instruments folder. You may not have a Sampler Instruments folder at all, and your Audio Music Apps folder may be aliased. If that's the case, no matter what it is, just make sure that you have, at the end of it, a non-aliased Audio Music Apps folder with a non-aliased Sampler Instruments folder inside. So those are the 2 issues it's possible to receive during the installation process. Before we wrap up this video, I want to walk you through one last error that you may run into. And this is an error that would actually happen within MainStage or Logic Pro. So I'm going to go back to MainStage here. I've got this Pluto 60 brass pad loaded in. If you went through the entire install process successfully with no error messages, but then when you go to play your presets, you don't hear any sound, or you receive an error message when you load one of these patches or channel strips into your concert or project, then this troubleshooting step is for you. The first thing to do to attempt to resolve this issue is to simply restart your computer. So if you haven't done that already, go ahead and give it a go before attempting any of the steps to follow. There's a pretty good chance that just restarting your computer will resolve this issue for you if your installation process went through successfully. If restarting your computer didn't have any effect, then go ahead and load a patch into your concert or a channel strip into your Logic project. And then over here in the channel strip area, click on the middle of the EXS24 plugin. It's going to open up like this. Now in this green window here, take note of what you see. If you see the word missing in all caps, here's what to do next. Go ahead and click on the green text and then scroll down to where it says Refresh Menu. Now after hitting Refresh Menu, generally all you'll need to do is go ahead and restart MainStage, and then all of the patch files will go ahead and reference the desired EXS24 preset. But if any of these presets, when you have EXS24 open, still say missing, then you want to click up here in the green text area, scroll down to the name of your sound library, and then make sure that you just load in the preset that's called up right next to the words missing in the top area. Again, 9 times out of 10, simply restarting MainStage is all you're going to have to do. Now, if after clicking Refresh Menu in EXS24, you don't see the name of your sound library here in the menu, then the odds are that you actually didn't have a successful installation process. So go back a bit in this video to where I discussed troubleshooting step 2 of the installation process and make sure that your folders are set up correctly. Remember, if your folder structure is not username, music, Audio Music Apps, Sampler Instruments, your sound library folder, then you're probably going to run into issues. You won't be able to use these sounds until the folder structure is fixed. All right, folks, that does it for this video. Thank you for your purchase and enjoy your new sound library. If you've gone through the troubleshooting steps I just mentioned, but you're still having trouble, then please reach out to us via the contact form on our website so we can help you get up and running. Thanks again. Have a great day.